National Guard troops and New York State troopers will deploy into the New York City subway system to help riders feel safe after a spike in transit crime.
New York is implementing a new subway safety plan. It includes adding more police officers, but also instituting bag checks. It follows a series of violent incidents. Hundreds of National Guard troops will be deployed.
Today, New York Governor Kathy Hochul announced new efforts to fight rising crime in New York City's subway system, which is up 13%, and that's just since last year. So Hochul is deploying 1,000 state personnel from the MTA, state police, even the National Guard to help the city.
The New York subway, the city's beating heart? They say if it isn't running smoothly, the city's in hot water. And lately, it's been a crime-riddled roller coaster down there. I mean, a conductor getting stabbed in the neck? Shocking, right? And let's not forget the poor passenger push under the tracks. It's madness. In January, subway crime spiked by nearly 50% compared to last year. There were 570 reports of serious assaults on trains or in stations in 2023, the highest in over 20 years.
On case management. Those troops will assist migrants with applying for work authorization. That's including Venezuelan nationals who were just granted temporary protected status by President Biden.
That's a whopping 53% increase from before the pandemic. With that unbelievable incident, something had to give. Enter Governor Kathy Hochul, conducting bag inspections at every subway entrance. But let's be real. Is it effective or just a political charade as elections loom, especially as the election approaches? Can these measures truly solve subway crime? Stick around as we dive into the details of this story.
Random bag checks at some of the city's busiest subway stations. This will be on top of the 1,000 additional police officers Mayor Eric Adams deployed to the subways in February to combat transit crime.
Crime in the New York subways has surged, presenting a significant threat to public safety. Recent data reveals a troubling trend, with subway crime up by 13% compared to the same period last year. Assaults on the transit system have soared by 11%, marking a concerning escalation in violence. The NYPD's records for 2023 paint a grim picture, showcasing a record number of subway assaults. Mayor Eric Adams attributes much of this surge to recidivists, emphasizing that a small group is responsible for most crimes. In response to this crisis, Governor Kathy Hochul announced the deployment of approximately 1,000 National Guard members and state police troopers. Their mission is to conduct random bag checks at some of the busiest subway stations in the city. This deployment supplements Mayor Eric Adams' initiative, which saw the addition of 1,000 police officers to the subways in February. These officers were tasked not only with combating transit crime, but also with conducting bag searches. The severity of the situation is underscored by Mayor Adams, who highlighted that 38 individuals were responsible for a staggering 1,126 crimes in the city, highlighting a recidivism crisis. Governor Hochul echoed these concerns, acknowledging a series of high-profile crimes that have shaken the security of New Yorkers. Among these incidents are the harrowing tales of a 64-year-old man pushed onto subway tracks at Penn Station and an MTA employee slashed during an early morning shift in February. These incidents serve as stark reminders of the urgent need to address subway safety and combat rising crime levels.
Seems a bit much.
I think that there's probably other ways to go about ensuring safety than invading crime.
Governor Kathy Hochul has revealed a comprehensive plan to enhance subway safety throughout New York City, placing the safety of all residents as the utmost priority. Central to her strategy is the deployment of approximately 1,000 National Guard members and state police to conduct random bag checks at the city's busiest subway stations. This effort supplements Mayor Eric Adams' deployment of an additional 1,000 police officers in February, tasked with both preventing crime and conducting bag searches. Furthermore, Governor Hochul is advocating for closer collaboration between law enforcement agencies and the courts to identify and address repeat offenders who pose a threat on the subway. She is also proposing new legislation that would ban individuals convicted of violent crimes against fellow passengers from riding the subway, with judges empowered to enforce a 3-year ban. In addition to increased surveillance through the installation of cameras in subway train cabins and facing platforms, Hochul acknowledges the importance of addressing underlying mental health issues contributing to subway-related crime. Therefore, she is allocating approximately $20 million in funding for mental health outreach teams. She believes there's a psychological impact and people might worry they can be next. While individuals retain the right to refuse bag checks, Hochul emphasizes the importance of cooperation to maintain subway safety. By working together, Hochul believes New Yorkers can create a safer environment for all subway passengers. Don't just watch from the sidelines. Join the movement for safer subways. Share your thoughts. Get involved in community efforts and support initiatives to improve subway safety. Together, we can make a real difference. And don't forget to subscribe to stay updated on ways to contribute. Let's create a subway system we can all feel secure in. Governor Hochul's decision to implement bag searches comes in response to a series of high-profile crimes that have rattled the security of New Yorkers. While acknowledging improvements in subway safety statistics, she emphasizes the need for tangible action beyond just numbers. Hochul's objective is to instill confidence in subway ridership and ensure the safety of all passengers. She believes that by making the subway feel safer, more people will be encouraged to use it. Hochul commends Mayor Eric Adams' deployment of 1,000 additional officers to the subways in February as a positive step toward improving safety. The bag searching process will be conducted randomly at major transit hubs with high foot traffic. Hochul emphasizes that the goal is to supplement the efforts of the NYPD throughout the entire subway system. If individuals refuse to have their bags searched, they will be denied entry to the subway. Hochul is firm in her stance, asserting that refusal to comply means individuals cannot ride the subway. While Hochul mentions having cameras on every subway, she believes that increased surveillance will serve as a deterrent to criminal behavior. She emphasizes that the presence of cameras will increase the likelihood of apprehension for offenders, thereby impacting the psychology of criminals. The implementation of bag searches was observed at the Grand Central subway stop on Thursday morning, signaling the initiation of these intensified security measures. With 472 stations across NYC, Hochul's plan reflects a comprehensive approach to improving subway safety and restoring public confidence. To help people with mental health issues in the subway, Governor Hochul has a plan. She has two main parts to her plan. Firstly, there are trained professionals like social workers and people with medical experience. They talk to people in the subway who need help. These professionals have been doing this for about a year and a half. They try to build a relationship with these people and convince them to leave the subway. Then, they help them find a safe place to stay and get the support they need. Secondly, some people with very serious mental health issues could be a danger to themselves or others. Hochul is giving an extra $20 million to make sure more police officers can help. These officers will work with the professionals to make sure everyone stays safe. Governor Hochul knows that subway incidents can make people worried. She wants to help everyone feel safe again. Governor Hochul's plan to deploy National Guard members in the subway has stirred mixed reactions among passengers. Some express concern about the militarization of civilian spaces and question the need for such measures. A Brooklyn resident expresses skepticism about the plan, believing it may be driven by political motives rather than genuine safety concerns. However, others see the increased security presence as a necessary step to address rising crime rates. A daily commuter supports the plan, citing concerns about crime and safety in the city. Similarly, one passenger believes that having uniformed personnel in the subway could deter criminal activity. There are also concerns raised by police reform advocates about the potential for racial profiling, drawing parallels to controversial policing practices like stop and frisk. A black male acknowledges the potential discomfort that stop and search measures could cause for people of color. Ultimately, passengers are adopting a wait-and-see approach, hoping that the presence of National Guard members will lead to a safer subway environment. However, there remains uncertainty about the effectiveness and impact of these security measures on the daily commute. Others have weighed in on the issue, noting that random bag checks by police have been a long-standing practice in New York subway entrances. However, passengers retain the right to refuse and exit the station, leading to questions about the effectiveness of these checks in a subway system that serves over 3 million riders daily. Donna Lieberman, the executive director of the New York Civil Liberties Union, criticized the plan, describing it as another unfortunate example of policymaking driven by overreaction and overreach. She emphasized the importance of sound policymaking and cautioned against misrepresenting isolated incidents as indicative of a widespread crime wave. Lieberman also expressed concern about the potential revival of failed policing strategies, such as the broken windows theory, which advocates for addressing minor offenses to prevent larger disorder. As we conclude, let's consider: how do we ensure subway safety without sacrificing freedoms? What practical steps can address the reasons behind subway crime? Here's the plan. Invest in community mental health support, boost funding for social services, and enact fair policies for all subway users. It's on each of us to push for these changes and guarantee our subways remain safe and inclusive. So, what will you do to help create a safer subway experience for everyone? Let's make a difference together. Join the conversation, share your ideas, and take action to improve subway safety in your community. Together, we can create a subway system that works for everyone. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and stay informed. Together, we can make change happen.